There are times in this hobby where everything seems to go wrong, when every single thing you do seems to fail. This was one of those times. Hello fellow Hunters of the Blue, and welcome to my channel, and welcome to the official launch of the Starcraft tabletop miniatures game. I was extremely excited when Archon Studio contacted me to make this video. As an all-time nerd, Starcraft and Warcraft were some of the first games I played online with my friends. I distinctly remember going to a cyber cafe to play them because back then almost no one had internet. And that's how old I am. And now I am here presenting you this amazing game with incredible miniatures as part of my job, and it truly feels like a dream come true. And the game is phenomenal. It has everything. Awesome hard plastic minis, amazing lore, and my favorite feature for tabletop games, alternate activations. The game is right now on pre-order and will be until April 17th. Please check the link in the description and get your copy now. For me, making this video is truly an honor and something I was really excited about. And then, well, everything went wrong. Let's get cracking. This guy is a total unit. Just look at him. He is massive and really cool. And because in this video I'm not restricted by any paint company or any other sponsors, I'm going to start with this Triad, which I think is fantastic. And one of the reasons I like the Army Painter air range so much is that these Triads make airbrushing really easy. So I'm going to start with them and going to progressively move up the ranges, starting from Raven Black, then moving to Crow Hue, and then Cadre Grey. I'm going to be heavier on any parts that I want to be blue. In this case are just going to be the shoulder pads, knee pads and stuff like that. If you don't have an airbrush, you can always do this using spray cans. They actually work quite well. Just black, grey and white will do. Obviously an airbrush will give you the best result because you can actually focus it where you want it, and it will get more precision and a smaller particle size, so it's always better. Our airbrushing is now done and he's looking quite good, and now I want to finish all of this with a dry brush using pure white. I want this dry brush to be quite faint, and just want to pick up all of the edges and do the final highlight. For that, as always, I'm going to use my ARTIFY dry brushes. They are the best for me, for the best price, the best quality. They are amazing. You will find a link in the description to an Amazon affiliate link, as always. So if you want to support me, just know that I will get a small commission if you buy them from there. This is exactly what I want, to pick out all of the edges of the model. So I run it against the edges, and any areas that will be blue, like the cables or like the shoulder pads, all of those details I will go maybe a bit heavier than usual. I want to now pick out all of the blue stuff, and for this I'm going to use speed paints, which I don't normally use, but thanks to my friends at Ratadel, they are my official European shop. Again, you will find a link in the description. They send me the whole speed paint set and I want to try them out in a practical sense. So I'm going to use this speed paint to tint everything that I want to be blue. So I will pick anything that I want to be blue now with this paint. This will be things like the knee pads, shoulder pads, the cables, that kind of stuff. And finally, before we move on to the oils, I'm going to paint all of the metallic details using Game Color Silver, my favorite silver paint. This silver paint is just incredible. Everything is fully dry now. Again, if you want to do a layer of varnish, feel free to do it now, but I'm going to start applying my oils, and I'm going to apply them in a different way that you may seen just as a wash, but no, I want the oils to tint and color the surface, so I'm going to go heavier than normal. I'm going to use two different colors for this stage, from Abteilung 502, Payne's Grey and Faded Navy Blue. And I have my odorless spirits, which is what I'm going to use to thin this down. I'm going to add spirits into this until I have the desired consistency, which is going to be way thicker than normal. You see that it's quite thick and it covers over basically everything. For my black, I'm going to just use Payne's Gray, pure Payne's Gray. You know what? This looks good, but I think it's going to be too blue. So I think I'm going to tone it down using some of this engine grease. Yeah, this is going to be just the color. Brown mixed with blue is going to make a chromatic black. A little bit of this brown here. And this is going to desaturate this blue way down. This is exactly what I want. As I said, I want this to bite onto the model. I'm going to apply this over everything. And you see that I did a pretty thick layer. But that is just what I wanted. This should be the final result. Now we need to leave this to dry. Again, we don't want this to cure. We still want these paints to be, you know, movable and workable, but we want for all of this shine to go away. It's too shiny now. I need for the basically all of the thinners to evaporate and the paint settle and bite into the base coat layer. So let's give it, you know, some hours for this to do. 2 or 3 hours should be enough, I think. I left this to dry for a while. It was about an hour and a half, something like that. And I did a test on this shoulder pad, sorry, and it's just perfect. And you can see how I cleaned up and how cool that looks with the shading provided and the extra tinting from the oils. And I'm going to take some makeup sponges like these ones. I have a bunch of them. I'm going to use this to clean up. You can see it here. I'm just going to rub it on the upper surfaces and you can see how cool that looks. And I'm going to change the direction for this other one. I'm going to keep on cleaning this till I am happy with how it looks.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
So my biggest fear came true and the paint lifted off from the primer. I'm sure that the airbrush paints are just, you know, less sticky, so to speak, and I have some lift off in some places like the head here on the front. It didn't happen on the blue. I think that the spit paint was protecting that airbrush layer enough so that it didn't lift off from the blue. So I'm really happy about that, but really not happy about the black. And you see here also how it's just back to the primer in some spots. If you are going to follow this tutorial, be sure to varnish before you apply the oils. Just a matte varnish over the whole model should be enough. But now that I have that mistake already, what I'm going to do is wait for this to fully dry, probably until tomorrow, and then I'm going to show you how you can fix this. It's the next day and we're going to fix it. So I'm going to start, because I like the blue, I really like how the blue turned out, I'm going to use some liquid mask to mask the blue and keep on working on the black. When using liquid mask, don't use any brushes that you want to survive, or cheap, bad quality rubber tip tools. And let's hope I can actually remove this mask. We will see. It's the first time I use a liquid mask, so we will have to see how this works. Just a quick tip and trick on cleaning a liquid mask from your brushes, because even though I do consider that once you use a brush for liquid mask that is a liquid mask brush, it can be cleaned. People assume that you cannot clean them, but you do. Let me show that to you. Let me soak this well, so you see that I'm not faking this. This is now fully caked in liquid mask. This is mineral spirits, odorless spirits, the same kind of spirits I use to clean oil paints, thin out oil paints, enamel paints, all of that stuff. Look at what it does to the mask. Completely off the brush. Look at that. Just like new. And again, I wouldn't use this brush for any other thing, but no, that it can be cleaned. I reapplied all of my zenithal, and I'm going to remove the liquid mask. And just by peeling it off, you will take away all of the mask. And your model will be untouched. Everything is now done. I had a little issue with the cables where the mask lifted off some of the oil underneath. A very weird effect. I don't know why that happened. Maybe I should have left the varnish cure for longer, but I don't really care. It's time to apply my oils. I'm going to skip the dry brushing because I wasn't very happy with how dirty and muddy made everything look. So I'm going to go straight to the oil wash over all of this. Well, finally, after a lot of suffering, I am finally back where I wanted to be, with the oil dry, flat varnish applied just to be 100% sure, and we are back into the normal painting. We all make mistakes, just have that in mind, and you can just fix it. Is this perfect? No, we had some weird interaction with the mask and the oil plus varnish combo. Something weird happened there, not 100% sure. I don't really care about the blue part that much, especially these cables, because I'm going to highlight them and do more work on them to make them look like they are glowing. But I didn't have to strip my model and start again, and that for me, it's a win. So let's get back into painting. What I'm going to do now is finish highlighting this doing some sponge chipping. I'm going to use Cadre Gray, the same color I used for my final highlights before the oils, and I'm just taking one of these packing sponges and I'm going to apply this on the edges of the things. We need to be sure we have very little paint on our sponge. After we're done with this initial round of chipping, we can go back with a brush and refine it. It's never a bad idea to do this, and we can also take this opportunity to do some very rough edge highlighting if we really want. Just by doing some tippy tapping, as the Cult of Paint guy says, over the edges, we can achieve sort of an edge highlight plus chipping combo that looks really good and will help define everything nice. I kind of love these guys looking battered and really worn, so I'm all down for that effect. Depending on the oil paints you use for the previous step and how thick you apply them, how much you leave them to fully dry before you take them away, you can potentially get different results. So if your gray ends up looking a little bit too light, don't be afraid of doing second layer. The chipping is now done and the model is looking pretty damn amazing. I did the sponge over the cables as well because I didn't like how they turned out after the masking and all of that. And I just went really heavy with the gray over the connecting ports here and in the middle of each of the cables, and I did some edge highlight on the thicker parts of the cables, sort of like that. But you can see here the whole effect. And I'm going to apply some color over that later, but first I want to finish the armor, and for that I'm going to do some dark chipping using Rhinox hide inside of the light chips. This time you really want to be as small as you can, just like that, just leaving a little bit of the light chips showing through. How much or how little you want to do at this bit is up to you. The harder you go, the more damage the armor is going to look. I think with this effect in particular, less is more. But you do you. I'm going to go even further and add a little bit of a rust effect. For this I'm going to use this wash from Ammo Mic, Light Rust Wash. It's an enamel product and it works really well. This is essentially very similar to an oil paint and it will flow, as you can see, into all of the recesses. And as with oils, you can just wipe it off the surface if you don't like the effect. Just use some odorless thinners and it will just go off. As with the previous effect, how much or how little you want to apply is up to you. Now that the armor is finished and I'm super happy with it, it's time to finish the cables once and for all, and I'm going to just apply a layer of speed paint over them. This is a mix of tidal waves and Caribbean Ocean. Just like that, just to make them really bright, like they are glowing. And with that, I just finished fixing everything that I destroyed. With all of that done, the model is basically finished. It just needs a couple of final touches, and those are the glowing details. I'm going to use my airbrush and some white. The reason I don't have my cap is so that I can clean my needle constantly, because that will allow me to do more precise shots. Before I apply my color to my glow, I'm going to take a little bit of pure white and use this to highlight all of the areas that will be hit directly by the glow. And after all is done, I'm going to go back to my previous mix of speed paint, and I can clean up some of the brightest points if I want. And I'm going to apply this over those white edge highlights we did before. Once that is dry, the only thing left to do is to apply a little bit of white into the very glowing core. For example, in this bit here, I'm just going to apply the white right there in the middle. One of the most important things you need to understand is that we all make mistakes. When you start in this amazing hobby, you will make mistakes, and you will keep making mistakes even when you get to win golden demons regularly. The only difference is how you react to them. As you build more confidence and more experience, you just fix your problems and move on. This miniature came out amazing, and I could have just edited all of my mistakes out, but I think this is a message that is important to broadcast. We all make mistakes. If you want to support me, you can check my Patreon, where I offer in-depth uncut tutorials and private classes. Help me and join the list of the coolest people in the world that you can see on the screen right now. Thank you for watching this video, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!